Greetings and salutations. I wanted to make this video to show my own personal method of making fairy wings. I've developed this method over the last 4 or so years, and after many failed attempts and varying results, I feel like I finally have something worth sharing. Whoop. For this project, you'll need the following. I was going to read it out, but it started seeming a bit onerous, so I'll just leave a list in the description, or you can pause and make notes. I use Softcut for this project, but if you try something else, drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear. Start by tracing out the shape of your Softcut. Divide that in half and then draw one set of the wings. You'll want both sides of the wings to be perfectly mirrored, so just flip them once you're done. I have some templates I'll be sending out to my newsletter subscribers, but if you missed the boat on that one, just head over to the resources tab of my website. Next, you need to get the design onto the Softcut. I use my stencil printer, as I'm also a tattooist, but honestly, I didn't really rate it as a very precise method. You're probably better off using the old method of scribble on the back with a pencil and trace it on. Then we carve it up. I find it helps to use my opposite index finger to help guide the chisel. This saves you from slipping and ruining all your hard work. And there you have it, the finished wing mold. To make the paste, you add a splish of oil, 30 ml of PVA glue, 10 to 15 ml of water, and mix it all in together nicely. Next, you want to take a sheet of toilet paper and work it in thoroughly until all of the fibres have broken down and you have a nice smooth paste again. Once you've done that, add a heaped teaspoon of cornflour and mix it in until once again, your paste is nice and smooth. Then you want to slowly add in your ink until you get the colour that you're looking for. Ink is very strong, so it is easy to overshoot the mark. In fact, I actually ended up mixing some of my old wing paste into this one because I made the other one way too dark. Once all that is done, you want to pop it into a small airtight container. You don't need much of this at a time, so you want it to last. Next, we need to prepare our wing membranes. The best thing I've found to use for this so far is one single sheet of oiled tissue paper. The brown sheet you see here is actually the protective sheets from in between tattoo transfer paper. But if you're not a tattooer, you can always just use regular tissue paper from the news agency. The reason you want these oily is that it increases the translucency. I like to cut the sheets roughly to size, then pop them into a Ziploc bag and add oil and set it aside for a bit. The oils should spread throughout all the sheets and then you have yourself a little stash of oily membranes. Now that all our prep is done, we can actually start building the wings. I've found it can help to oil the mold first. You want to blob a bit of the wing paste on and then use a flat scraper to drag the paste into the veins of the mold. Once you have all the lines filled up, you want to just keep scraping until you've removed any of the excess. You want the mold as clean as possible. If you're struggling, don't worry, you can go back in with a damp paper towel and clean it up once it's dried. If you do this, however, you need to be very careful as they are very fragile at this stage. Set that aside to dry, and once it's fully dry, we're ready to put the wing membrane on. Grab your bag of membranes and wipe off any excess oil. Coat the wing mold with a middling amount of PVA and brush it across the surface evenly. Then you can smooth your membrane sheet on and set it aside to dry. Again, there is a lot of setting aside to dry. Once dry, you can ever so gently peel the wing out of the mold. It helps to start from the thick part at the base, as that's the strongest part and you're more likely to get it out of the mold easily. Now, on to side 2. For this next side, repeat the process of wiping the paste into the wing veins. If you're feeling brave, you can just go ahead and lay the wings that you have just extracted back over the mold, making sure to flip it over so the raised veins are facing up. You have to be as precise as possible and line those wing veins up as perfectly as you can. So if you're worried about this step, do more setting aside to dry before attempting this. Make sure it's firmly pushed down and then, you guessed it, set it aside to dry. Once fully dried, you can repeat the process of gently extracting it from the wing mold. Removing it can be a tricky and time-consuming process, but it's worth it. The final step is to paint the shine onto the wings and then cut them out. This is where the nail polish comes in. This could be really stinky, so make sure you work in a well-ventilated area. I use the nail polish remover to thin it out so it isn't too thick and gluggy. Then, just painstakingly paint the membrane in between the veins. Once this is done and they're cut out, you can glue some thin wire along the top edge of the wings for added strength and posability. I have tried embedding wire into the wing membrane after the first pass on the wing veins is done, but this is super tricky and I haven't yet had much success. But I'll let you know when I crack it. And that's the end of the tutorial. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm still pretty new to this whole making videos thing, so any support you could show, whether it be a thumbs up or a comment, that would be greatly appreciated. I plan on making more videos on the other parts of my Faerie making process, so if that's something you'd be interested in, feel free to subscribe. Oh, I also have some new things up in my web store, and if you'd like to get discounts on future shop updates, you can sign up for my newsletter. Promise I won't spam you. You can find all the info down in the description, including links to the Softcut and Lino Tool that I used. I hope you enjoyed. Bye!